Colin, did you bring in any targets last night?
We actually raised our target this morning. We went from 432 to 436. There's a couple things that we're looking at. One, there's an awful lot of operating leverage left to be had in this model, and it's coming from efficiency in the R&D spend as well as the SG&A. As they scale up revenue here, we're expecting them to be able to get some leverage off that operating side. But more importantly, it's really on the cost side from a manufacturing perspective. They're still underutilized in both Austin and Berlin, and they're just beginning to see the impact of the 4680 batteries start to flow through. And we're expecting some significant upside on the gross margins on the order of potentially 4 to 7% of incremental gross margin as we go through the next couple of years.
That's interesting. What about demand? How do you answer concerns about either softening demand in aggregate or at least more difficult share environment as new competitors come on board?
Yeah, that's the heart of the matter here with the stock right now. So we're seeing some pretty good products coming out of Mercedes and BMW here. We've seen VW and Hyundai be real leaders in terms of the EV space and trying to work into the lower cost models. But what we're seeing from Tesla is just ongoing evolution of the manufacturing platform and really driving cost out in a couple of levels. One with the stamping program, second with the structural battery pack, and then the evolution of just the efficiency of the powertrain. I think one of the things that we're really intrigued by is their insistence on sticking with the 400-volt architecture, as a lot of other folks go to 800 volts to get better range and try to simplify some of the design. And we think Tesla's going after the low-cost, high-volume components that's going to help them drive cost out. And so as we look at some of these other products coming to market, we think that the actual hardware of the vehicle actually for Tesla is going to go, it's going to have a lower cost structure structurally. And then beyond that, they're rolling out the wide release of the FSD beta here in the fourth quarter in North America. And we think that's going to support margins as we get into next year, but it's also, I think, going to drive demand. And just the last point here is that, when you talk about this, we're talking about, a relatively strong demand environment already. They're sitting only at 8 days of inventory at the end of the quarter. And so it's really we're not seeing a demand problem. We're seeing a relative move, but it's a very small one on an absolute basis.
Yeah, especially compared to some of the other automakers, Colin. I think what you're speaking to is sort of this larger picture. Maybe you're going to see some volatility quarter to quarter, but, has that larger picture changed? This is a company, an EV maker that still offers the best value and has optionality around a number of different other businesses like storage and solar. He also talked a lot about robotics last night. But I do wonder, Colin, you haven't mentioned the Chinese automakers. What do you think about what BYD and NIO are doing? Could that be competition, not just in China, but abroad? Typically, Chinese automakers haven't had success abroad, but could that change?
Absolutely. We saw it with, the Japanese automakers historically, as well as Korean automakers, and certainly that's going to be a dynamic. What is different from the story around Japan and Korea is the geopolitical implications of buying Chinese cars in other markets. And I think certainly there's going to be a cost dynamic, but also there's going to be, a level of, protecting industry and economies as consumers look at some of these things. And I think Tesla going into China, and really competing on a cost basis there is important for them, from a supply chain perspective, but also in terms of just best practices as they bring some of those best practices out into other geographies in their factories. And I think that sort of learning is important for the company as they look at some of these other markets.